Hello everyone, hi, my name is Mohammed Ali and welcome to this series on mastering coding patterns. Today I am very excited and very happy to share that this question will prove you that our last 2 days efforts are paying us benefit. They were worthy, and today this question is the living proof that yes, we are stepping up our game. So let's jump towards this question. Let's understand its naive approach and then how we can solve it via sliding window. Once we will be done with understanding this question, we will jump towards the lead code and then you will get the surprise. So stick with me and let's jump towards this question. Okay, so what's this question is about? So the question name is number of subarrays of size k and average greater than or equal to threshold. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so many words. But what in simple words they are trying to say? This question is asking us to count all those averages of the subarrays of size k that are equal or greater than a certain number, which is called threshold. Okay, so what we need to do, we this is an array, and what we need to do is that we need to make a subarray of size k, that is 3. So we need to make a subarray of size 3, and then we have to calculate these three elements average. Once we will get the average, we have to compare that average with this threshold number, which is 4. If the average is greater than or equal to 4, what we will do, we will simply update our count by removing this 0 and by adding 1 in it. Cool. If the average is not equal or greater than 0, then what we will do, we will simply ignore it. We will leave it as 0 and we will move forward with the next subarray. Sounds good? Cool. So let's discuss the naive approach. How to solve this question via naive approach. So we are standing here, and then what we have to do, we have to calculate the sum of these three elements. So the sum of these three elements is going to be 2 plus 2 plus 2, which is 6. Okay, so what is the average formula? If you watched my last two videos, you will find out that yesterday we discussed averages. So the average formula is summation of x divided by n. N is the number of elements, which is 3, and the summation of x is the sum of all these three elements. So 6 divided by 3, and the final answer is going to be 2. Now my question to you guys is 2 greater than or equal to 4? So the answer is no. So that's why we will leave our count as 0 and we will move forward. We are discussing, remember, we are discussing the naive approach. So now we will calculate the sum of these three elements because this is the next subarray. So again, the elements are 2 plus 2 plus 2, which is 6. So 6 divided by 3 equals to 2. Again, 2 is less than 4, and that's why we will leave our count as 0. We will move furthermore, and for, while further moving forward, we will find out that the next three elements are 2 plus 2 plus 5. We will again count the sum of these three elements, which is going to be 2 plus 2 4, 4 plus 5 9. So now we will simply come here and we will update here with 9. So 9 divided by 3, so the answer will be 3. So is, now ask yourself, is 3 greater than or equal to 4? No. So we will leave our count as 0. We will move forward, and here we will find that there are three elements, 2 5 and 5. So 5 plus 5 is 10 and 10 plus 2 is 12. So we will now come here. Oops. Okay, wrong option. So we will come here and we will update the count as 12. So 12 divided by 3, yes, this is 4. And remember, our condition was should be greater than or equal to. So since this is 4, what we will do, we will come here, we will update our count with 1. Now further moving forward, what we will find, these three elements. So 5 plus 5 plus 5, this is 15. We will come again here, we will use 15. 15 divided by 3, this is going to be 5. Yes, 5 is greater than 4. That's why we will update our count with another one. So our updated value of count will be 2. Then we will simply remove this line and come to this part. So remember, we will stop till here. Why? Because we don't want to go out of bound, we don't want to cross our array. So 5 plus 5 is 10, 10 plus 5 is 18. So this is going to be 18. Okay, let's follow the trend. So here is 18 and this one will become 6. So 6 is also greater than 4. So that's why our updated count will become 3. Okay, so this is going to be our final answer. Now, what was the problem with this approach? This problem is fine, this problem is giving the answer, but is it, ask yourself, that is it the most efficient way of solving this problem? Of course not. Why? Because if you observe the pattern, what we were doing in the first initial stage, we calculated the sum of these three elements and then we took the average. Then we calculated the sum of these three elements, then we took the average. So this was first, this was second, and then we calculated the sum of these three elements. This was 3. Now, do you see the pattern here? The elements are repeating. The elements are repeating, and we are wasting our computational resources by calculating the sum of overlapping elements, okay, which is making our solution an inefficient solution. So how we can improve our solution, how we can introduce some efficiency in our solution? By introducing a window. And that's why this approach is called sliding window, because after introducing a window, we will slide our window on the array in order to find an efficient way of calculating the sum, and then we will calculate the average, and then we will compare the average with the threshold. So how to do that part? Simply remove this thing, and then let's introduce this window here. Now, why, Ali, you are starting your window from here? Let me tell you. Because in sliding window, we first calculate the sum of our initial array, okay, the initial subarray. So the initial subarray sum is 6. Okay, we have seen the average of this first array, which was 2. So 2 is not of our concern, so that's why we can avoid it. Okay, simply just type here 6 and then 2. Okay, but 2 is less than 4, so that's why let's leave the count variable as 0. But this time rather than calculating the next three values, what we are going to do, we are simply going to remove this initial value from this sum. So let's subtract this 2, and then what we are going to add, we are going to add this new 2 here, so plus 2. So this will be the sum of these three values, which is 6. Now in the next step, what we are going to do, simply remove these lines here, and just here I am mentioning the sum of this window. Click here, slide the window away, and then remove this initial value and add this value. So in order to identify the sum of these three elements, okay, what we are going to do, we are simply removing this 2 from this sum, and we are adding this 5. So it will give us the 5. The average process is pretty clear, like by dividing with 3. So I am not wasting your time by calculating each of these calculations. So you got the idea how the sliding window will work. You simply will remove the initial value, and you simply will add the new value, and that's how you will keep sliding. Again, how much you will slide? You will slide till this position. Okay, so this value will be removed, and you will traverse till this position, which is n minus kth position. Okay, cool. So I hope you got the idea of this question. Now let's jump towards the solution part. So here we are on our lead code, and in our lead code this is the question. But here's the good part. If you scroll down, you will see that here is a medium difficult. This is a medium difficulty question. Okay, so far for the last 2 days we were solving easy level question, but this one is a medium difficulty question. But if you have watched the last two videos, uh, and I hope by now your sliding window concept is clear. So after understanding the concept via visualization, I believe you can easily code this solution. We are going to code it, but you will find out like how easy the solution will become to you once you will get the idea from the last two videos and this video via visualization. So what we did, we simply did that we calculated the window sum, the initial sum, like the initial subarray sum. So how we are going to calculate it? By using sum function, and then we are giving the input list as ARR. So this is the array, and now what we are going to do, we are calculating the sum of first three elements because the k is 3 here. Okay, so uh, after calculating the sum of our first three elements, what we are going to do, we are going to calculate the average of this window. And how we calculate the average? By simply dividing the window sum by k. Okay, remember that summation of x divided by n. Okay, so we are using this sum, and then we are dividing it by k, which is our n number of elements, which are 3. Cool. So now once we are done with calculating our average, what we will do, we are going to check if our windows average is greater than equal to threshold. If it is, then what we have to do, we are going to initialize the variable count with value 1. Let's say if the first three characters sum was like here in this case scenario was 6, and 6 divided by 3 was 2. So the first sub array's average was 2, which is less than threshold, which is less than 4. So if so it means like this if condition will fail, so we will jump towards else part. So when this condition will not pass, what you have to do, you have to initialize a new variable called count with value 0. Okay, cool. Now we are going to jump towards our sliding window like logic. So first let's type the for loop for I in range length of array minus k. Oops, sorry, k. And then here we are going to type window sum. Now remember that part that we use our window, and we started our window from the this second element. Okay, so here we are going to do the same thing. Because why we are not starting from this element? Because we have already used this logic and calculated its average. Okay, the first three elements average. So starting from here, so now we are starting from here to calculate the this subarray's average, and then we will compare it with our threshold. So let's do this. So here we are. So we have already calculated the initial sum of these three characters. So write that down. window sum minus, now we are going to remove this first element, so minus array I. Okay, since we are not mentioning any starting point, it means the range will start from 0th index. So at 0th index this 2 is present, so we will simply remove this 2 from our sum, from our initial window sum, which was 6. And now we are going to add the new element, which is this 2. Okay, how? By using I plus k index. Now I is 0, okay, initially, so 0 plus 3 means 3. So what is the value present at 3 index? 0, 1, 2, 3. So at third index this 2 is present, so this 2 will come here. And this is how the behavior will continue. This window will slide forward. So we will press enter. Now the game is pretty simple. We have to calculate the average of a window sum. Okay, so this part will give us the average of these three values. Okay, keep in mind. And now we are going to calculate the we are going to match whether our window average, this new window average, is greater than or equal to 4. So let's type this out. Window average greater than equal to threshold. If it is, what you have to do, you have to update the count variable with 1. Okay, so whether the count variable was initialized with 1 or 0, depending on the first three elements. So in the next sub array of these three elements, the count variable will be updated with 1 if the average of these three elements, okay, if the average of these three elements is greater than 4 or equal to 4. If it is not, then what will happen? We will simply, okay, let me, yes, so we will simply avoid it. Okay, we will simply avoid it, and our iteration will move forward and will jump towards the next element, because we are only concerned with those averages that are either equal to or greater than 4. If the average is less than 4, for example in this case scenario the average is going to be 2, which is less than 4, then we are simply saying ignore it. We don't we have no concern from this 2. We will move forward with to the next iteration. Okay, and finally what we are going to do, the return should come here, and we are going to return our count. So once the iteration will happen till here n minus k, right? So uh, till our iteration, this for loop will continue like till this position n minus k. Once we will reach to this position, and this average will be checked and will be computed and compared, then what will happen? It will simply, our code will simply move towards this part, and it will return the final count. Okay, and this is the count that we are interested in. So now we are done with our code. Let's run this code. So simply come here, click on run, and our code got accepted. Now come here, click on submit. Voila, our code got accepted. So so you see, this was a medium difficulty question, but how easily it got solved via using sliding window. But thanks to our last two classes where we learned and practiced sliding window on two easy questions, based on that learning, this medium difficulty question become like uh, this medium difficulty question became a piece of cake for me, and I hope for you as well. So I hope you like this video. I am trying my best to make it as simple as possible and trying my best to explain the approach plus the code. If you like the effort, please do consider subscribing and sharing this video with those who are in their DSA prep journey. I hope this video and this whole series might be helpful to them as well. If you have any feedback how I can improve, what I should do, what I should not do, please do feel free to comment, to write that part in the comment. I would love to read your feedback and improve myself. Thank you so much for watching my videos, and thank you so much for your support. I hope to see you tomorrow with a new window, with a new video and a new question. Till then, keep practicing. Take care. Bye.